Hi guys, Keith Arkenberg Farms. It is now the last week of October and I'm in my greenhouse where I've been doing my experiment on late zucchini and green beans. Green beans are just starting to flower. It's great. I can go over here and actually get my first harvest of zucchinis, but I'm actually heating this tunnel this time of year at night specifically to keep this trial going. So let me show you what I'm using to actually heat this tunnel with. But first, head over to arkenbergfarms.com, scroll down to the bottom, digital tools and training, bunch of cool stuff there, bunch of great ways to manage your farms, some exclusive content as well. Also, great place to sign up for consulting. Now's the time of year to really take a deep look at your farm and look back at what you could do better, what you don't need to do, and the best way to keep your farm profitable. So go ahead, check it out. Now I will tell you, typically I do not like heating anything here on the farm. We do a lot of overwinter greens and more frost and freeze hardy type produce this time of year. Cabbages, kale, radishes, lettuce, spinach, those types of things. So I really don't want to start heating, especially early in the season, because I really want them to harden off and really build up the glycol in their systems, which is basically the antifreeze that keeps them from dying when we actually do get the cold snap. This tunnel here is a completely different situation. You can see behind me, I got green beans. They're pretty good and cool, but zucchini will not make it. Also have the tomato greenhouse, which I've been debating on whether doing it or not. We're gonna get a real cold night for probably 3 or 4 nights the next week or so. I'm seeing lows around 20s. So I really do have to start pumping heat on things that I want to keep going just a little bit further. I know it's a losing game, and you know, sometimes you do keep extending on your season, sometimes you don't. All depends on how early it comes. But what I've actually been using is this little heater from Vevor here. It's actually like an RV heater or something. I'm not exactly 100% certain. I'm trialing it. They sent me a free product, tested it out. So far, I've only been able to run it 2 nights for the season. That's just basically because it hasn't really gotten all that cold out yet. I will say that I do not believe that this thing is intended to heat a greenhouse of this size. This is a 14-foot wide, almost 100-foot long caterpillar tunnel. So we're dealing with about 1,300 square feet of space, which from the directions I've seen is not really what this is intended for. Let me turn you around and I'll kind of show you what we got going on with it. So it's a basic, I think it's a 7 kilowatt unit, which I think that only comes out to like 60,000 BTU. Not the best in the world. But what it's got going for it is that it actually runs off of 12-volt power supply. So I didn't have to run power out here. Instead, I just grabbed a old deep cycle battery I actually have for the boat and brought it in here. Seems to work great. It only holds 1 gallon of diesel fuel, so that's what it runs off of. And it kind of sort of just runs continuously. I'll get it turned on here in a second. Then you're supposed to port this to wherever you want it. I just have it sticking upwards. Now it does come with an exhaust manifold because again, these are for like indoor use. And this thing does get really hot. What I actually did was took a piece of greenhouse top rail and ran it out of the greenhouse and found it still got really hot. So I encased it in a piece of PVC just to kind of jacket it there. That way, basically, I didn't want to burn up my plastic. So far it ran great, and the 1 or 2 trials I've done on this, I'll get it turned on and show you how this thing actually works. Now I got it turned on. I don't know if you can hear it. There's a constant clicking noise. The clicking noise is actually it pumping diesel through. What I found is that pretty much it just runs continuously, and then when it really needs a boost, it really speeds up and actually starts heating more. The display is in Celsius, which here in the States with Fahrenheit, I have to do all the conversions on it. I've just been trying to run it. I had the set point at about, what was that? About 70 degrees, which I believe is close to 10 degrees Celsius. Not 70, 40 degrees, which is about 10 degrees Celsius. And that's kind of what I was aiming for. It didn't want to dip below 40. And when I actually came out in the morning, both times on this, it was actually still at 15, which leads me to believe that this constant clicking is constantly actually heating and not actually, you know, waiting till it gets cold and then cranks up. So it just continuously cycles like this and pumps heat all night long. And then when it really needs it, it really cranks up. The couple times I've tested it, we went through about 3/4 of a gallon of diesel each time. Not a huge amount. It's only, you know, $3 per night to run. So that's not, you know, a huge cost. Typically I run one of those turbo tube type heaters, the ones that kind of look like a jet engine, and they hold a lot more fuel. It's actually starting to click on now. You can hear the pumping going on. And I found those work really good for these bigger greenhouses. Again, this was just a test, so I wanted to really, you know, see what it would do, what it was capable. Again, this space might be a little bit large for what I need it for, but so far so good. I'm actually going to move this over into the tomato greenhouse this next cold snap here in a couple days, simply because if I lose the tomatoes because it runs out of fuel or just can't push enough heat, I'm not really too concerned. In here, I want to keep this trial going because I'm really excited to see the results. So this is going to be the one I prioritize and actually, you know, keep it to where I want it at. Again, if this was any other crops, I would not even bother heating. I want this cold little up and down temperatures as we start to get into winter to really build up that glycol. And if I heat it, it's never going to get it. So again, only heat when you need to and don't heat what you don't need to. Early in the season in a small greenhouse, keep things going, probably be great. So at this point, greatest thing about it, no power. Great for anybody that doesn't have a constant power supply around. I fortunately do. So this is going to be like a backup standby, put here and there when I need it type use, and not a permanent fixture by any means throughout the season, because it's only got a gallon fuel tank. So as always, hope y'all liked your Saturday. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank y'all. Have a good day. And now it's starting to heat up nicely. Again, exhaust pipe going outside so we don't burn the place down.